How high can Bitcoin go in 2025? Let's take a look. I'm putting together a list for the Alpha Factory. So if you are in the Alpha Factory, you have unlimited access to this. But I want to show you on the YouTube channel here as well how far we are right now. There you can get, real-time updates. But I showed you before when the market is likely to top based on multiple indicators. So I gave a lot of indicators right here. And what we basically then do is just take an average of what all these indicators are saying. And still, that's not a guarantee, but it's the best way of guessing what could happen. And at the end of the day, it's all we do, right? It's we guess, and that's it. For now, I'm doing the same with a potential Bitcoin price target. So far, I used 7 different indicators that show us like how high can Bitcoin go. And we take an average of that. And once we have a potential Bitcoin high or total market high, we can also see like, hey, how much can the altcoin market go up by then? Because then it's just a matter of, finding out how much the altcoin market is dominating this whole crypto space. So at the end of the day, yes, it's all speculation and it's all guesswork, but isn't that what we all do? It's crypto, matter of fact, right? So welcome to the Fomo Factory. If you liked the video, I would appreciate it. Like, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on, and let's get right into it. So let's try to find out how high it might go. Now, the first thing that I want to look at is the logarithmic regression band. And do know, some of these indicators, they are including diminishing returns. And some of these indicators are not, but then we can take averages, okay? So still like not financial advice right here, right? But the logarithmic regression band for Bitcoin. Bitcoin always tops out at or around the upper band of the logarithmic regression band, right? We did it right here in 2011. We came very close to it. In 2013, we went right into it. 2017, we went right into it. 2021, we touched it. We got into it, but not very much. And if we get there, and this is, by the way, all based on the fact that I expect Bitcoin to top out at the end of 2025, right? And that's all, again, based on what we did right here. If Bitcoin is about to top out sooner than that, then prices could be a little lower, of course, right? If Bitcoin, again, like so far, every cycle gets towards or into the upper band, that will be sitting between 450K and 300K. So result $300,000 to $450,000. For the average, I'm gonna use $300 to make sure that it's gonna only get better from there. And it sounds again like, I want to give a disclaimer before we get to the rest. It always sounds like, whoa, Bitcoin cannot go that high. Let me tell you one thing. When Bitcoin here, for example, was sitting at $200 and somebody would have said that Bitcoin will go to $20,000, they would have said that you're crazy, right? And the same here, when Bitcoin was sitting at $3,000 and somebody would have said that Bitcoin would go to like 70, people would also said like, nah, it's not possible. Or even here, when Bitcoin was sitting at $2, somebody said it would go to, So make sure that you understand that this is crypto. This is not a stock market or anything, right? And although crypto is now into the trillions, of course, there are diminishing returns and it's getting less and less and less. But still, we're not talking about 100x's right here, right? We're talking about a couple x's actually from this point. So yeah, 300, 450K, that's what did this. This did, right? So that's one. Then the next one, Fibonacci retracements and extension levels. Super helpful, and this is very simple actually. Last cycle, Bitcoin topped out at the 3.618 Fib extension. If you take it here from the top to the bottom, then we topped out here. We went a little over it on wick base, but overall, this is where we got rejected twice, right? We had another attempt right here, so a super strong level. If we do that again in this cycle, the 3.618 is sitting at $210,000. Okay, so therefore this prediction goes to $210,000. Next one, returns from the halving year. And I use the wrong image for this. I have to adjust that, by the way. But I can actually tell you, from the halving to the top, Bitcoin saw less returns each cycle. Let me check if I can get the image right. There we go. From the halving to the top, Bitcoin saw less returns each cycle, right? This is diminishing. 2017, this was 2.5x less than in 2013. So for example, to show you, we had a 10,000% gain right here, but here we had a 4,100% gain, right? So that's 2.5x less. Well, from here to here was a 6x less, right? So if we take an average of that, that's 4.25x less gains, right? So if we take a look at the 684 and it's 4.25x less, then it would still give us 160% gains from the last halving until the top. And this would put Bitcoin at $175,000, right? So that seems not that like a weird level to me. You see these numbers popping off a lot, 150 to 210, give or take. This is such a measurement that puts that nicely in the middle, actually. Then overvaluation. I think that this one is pretty nice, actually. So if you look at this, Bitcoin has moments where it is undervalued and where it is overvalued, right? In a bear market, you are always undervalued by a lot. Here, 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 and here. In a bull market, you are always overvalued by quite a lot as well. Here, 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 here. There's no bull market where we weren't, right? So far, we are still undervalued, actually. So there is room to grow in this case. Now, if you look at this, the fair value in 2011 was $350, but the Bitcoin all-time high was $29. That's an 8.3x overvaluation. 2013, fair value 142, Bitcoin went to 1130, 8x overvaluation. 2017, fair value $4,000, Bitcoin went to 20K. That's a 5x overvaluation. And in 2021, the fair value was $24,000, but Bitcoin went to $69,000. That's a 2.x overvaluation. Now, the overvaluations are diminishing, right? With almost half of the amount. So 8 to 5 is around 60% difference. 5 to 2 is around 60% difference. So I will take a 60% difference from this one as well. Now, this 2011 to 2013 wasn't that much of a difference. But then again, this wasn't really a full cycle yet. Bitcoin was new, and I don't see 2011 really as a cycle. So not really including that right here. So this could mean that if we take the average of that we will now have an overvaluation of 1.6x in this coming cycle. Now, the fair value for Bitcoin at the end of 2025 comes in at $150,000. 60% more of that is 240K, right? So, like I said, as you can see, we never get to the fair value. We'll always go above it, right? And the fair valuation is already at 150K. So again, if we then also keep in mind that there are diminishing returns, then 240K is a result if we look at this. Then, this is a parallel channel, and this is one of the more bullish price predictions, but not necessarily that unrealistic, actually. Bitcoin moves in this parallel channel for 11 years already. The top of this channel sits at 800K by the end of 2025. That simple. Right now, it's not a perfect parallel channel, however. Right? As you can see, and I still have it on my trading view, I think. As you can see, no matter how I draw it, you always, like here it didn't touch the top and here it went over it. Right now we can draw it in different ways. We can draw it like this, and then we still have a little wick right here that makes sense, but then here it goes way above it. So it's a little different on how you look at it. The bottoms, however, make the parallel channel pretty accurate. We had the bottom here. Although we had a wick here, we really, despite that wick, hold it that level, right? COVID came close to it. The last bear market, we went to it again right here, pretty close. And now we're sitting here. So you can see that this channel is really freaking intact. Now, if we just keep moving in this parallel channel, so to the top in the bull, to the bear at the bottom, top bull, bear bottom. If we go to the top in the bull, this will be sitting at $800,000. Now, this is a lot, and this is a lot higher than the other predictions so far. But I feel like, why exclude it if it is still intact? So I'm gonna include it here as well. And this is a result of 800K. Now, you might feel like, that's a little too much. Okay, then let's take a look at what the average returns are in the post-halving year of the last two cycles, right? Because Bitcoin, and why do I say that for the last two cycles? Well, if you take a look, is Bitcoin following the last two cycles? Yes. If you look at the last two cycles from the bottom until where we are right now, we are perfectly on track. So if we follow the last two cycles until the day of today, I do feel like it's a little irresponsible to exclude them for the coming year, actually, right? So if we keep on doing what we are doing, what are the average returns? Well, it's also a really bullish one, because the average returns in the post-halving year of the last two cycles is 8x. Assuming that Bitcoin closes this year around this level, $95,000, Bitcoin can go to 760K if this repeats. So the result is 760K, and that lines up with this one again. So therefore, I do feel like, hey, I mean, this one is hopeful, but then again, is it unrealistic to expect that we stay in a channel? Not really. And to back it up, we can say like, hey, yeah, I mean, Bitcoin so far is doing what it's been doing since the beginning of this cycle. So why would it stop, right? And then this has give or take the same outcome. Now, I think last one is this. Is this the last one? Yeah. So this is the last one for now. And again, I will add more. So if you are in the Alpha Factory, there's a lot of stuff going on right there. Exclusive videos. You see my portfolio, but you can also keep track of this right here. But if you look closely at the logarithmic regression, rainbow regression, and if you look really closely, you can see that I haven't updated the right picture here as well. So 1 second. Good preparation is half the work, right? Anyway, if you look closely, you can see that Bitcoin tops out 2 bands lower of the previous cycle. And that's really interesting. So here, Bitcoin topped out at the orange line. 1, 2 down, this yellow one. That's where we topped out a cycle later. Then we have 1, 2 down. That's this one right here. It's where Bitcoin topped out a cycle later, right? Then we have 1, 2 down. It's where Bitcoin topped out a cycle later. So if we take it 1, 2 down, that's the one where we are right now. However, the band is moving up, of course, right? And the band will be sitting at $200,000 by the end of 2025. Slightly $202,000, but let's round it up. $200,000 by the end of 2025. This so far has been a pretty freaking accurate indicator, actually, right? It won't go on like that forever, but this has a lot of history. This has 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of history, and they all exactly the same. So I thought that that was quite funny. So we have a lot of numbers right now, right? We have 200K, 760, 800, 240, 175, 210, 300, 450, right? Let's say 300. So the thing is, with predicting these kind of things, it's really hard, because there might be people that say, well, I only look at this or this or this. But there are also people that say, well, you know what? I look at this. And there are people that say, I look at this. Well, one of them is going to be wrong, and they're going to be very wrong, of course, because Bitcoin won't top out at 200 and 800K, right? It will be, well, one price. So there will be a lot of indicators right here that won't predict this. So again, the best thing that we can do for now is add as many indicators as possible and take an average of that. And that's still not a guarantee that that's the price where it's going to top out, but that is eventually the most likely outcome. So again, the more we add, the more data we have, the better the outcome will be. But based on what we have so far, right? So far, but more will be added. So again, check out the Alpha Factory. But the average is 383K, right? So $383,000 is so far the average of where it could top out. Now, $383,000 is another 4x from this point, give or take, right? And again, it sounds like, wow, 400K, right? Then again, like there, if you want to look at narratives, which I would not recommend, but if you want to look at narratives, yeah, there has been it's not a guarantee, but there are talking at least about a Bitcoin national reserve, right? And I feel like narrative shouldn't matter, and this thing has not been. It's been more speculation than any. But the fact that we are at least thinking and talking about it makes this pretty possible, actually, right? Plus the fact that, again, we do not really need a reason for Bitcoin to go up. I mean, there's more demand for Bitcoin, but there's not more supply, so that automatically drives the price up. Plus, the asset that's paired against Bitcoin, which we're talking about is the dollar, is worth less over time. So Bitcoin automatically goes up. We do not need a narrative necessarily. I understand that it's a lot of market share that has to be added to Bitcoin to get to this price though. However, in this cycle, when we were sitting at like 12K and somebody would have predicted maybe 70K, people also said like, yeah, you know how much market cap that is. Yeah, and it happens, right? And the money is there, the money will be printed. It's I don't really find an excuse why it cannot happen. It is super hopeful, I get that, but then again, not impossible. And if we take it from the cycle bottom until that prediction that we were talking about, that's around a 2,200%. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the last cycle, what Bitcoin did from bottom to top, that was kind of the same, right? So it could happen. I mean, we are already more than halfway there when it comes to percentage gains. Now, in one of the next videos, and also for the Alpha Factory, based on that amount, we can also speculate on the potential price of the altcoin market, because there are a lot of things we can look at to see how much altcoins can dominate. Like, we should not look at our altcoins and be like, well, the CDFI, for example, right? Like, well, it's in a wedge right here, and if you take a trend line from how some people do it, right, from I don't know, here to here, and we put it over there, and it breaks out over here, then the price can go there, right? Like, I think that that's kind of nonsense. But what we can do is, if we understand maybe how much money can flow into Bitcoin and therefore maybe into the total crypto market, we can take a look, hey, how much are altcoins dominating the total crypto market? And we take that percentage of it, right? And then we can get a good overview of what the total altcoin market can go to. And based on that, we can look at individual altcoins. But we have to take it from the big thing to the smaller thing to the smaller things, right? You cannot just put a random price prediction out for an altcoin doing 100x if you think that Bitcoin might not even 2x from this point. So this is my, again, not a, yeah, I will put it in the title, of course, but otherwise you won't click on it, but it's not necessarily a prediction. But it's a speculation based on history. So let me know what you think, and especially let me know why you think it, because I remember getting some comments in the past when I put out a prediction like this and people said, it won't happen. And I am still kind of waiting for the reason. So for now, thanks for watching, guys. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on so you won't miss out on anything, and I will see you soon.